What's good? It's Woog. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you love music like I do. We are continuing to preview this 2022 Grammy Awards by going through the categories and talking about a lot of the nominations, a lot of the past winners, a lot of the Grammys history and so forth. And we're going to continue to do this leading up to the actual ceremony. So continuing down that path, we are now going to tackle the Best Rap Album Award. Now, this is a relatively new award. The first one that was issued out was at the 1996 Grammys, and the winner of that award was Naughty by Nature with Poverty's Paradise. That's not the one with Hip Hop Hooray, it's not the one with OPP, but it's actually the album with Feel Me Flow. And that year, the other nominees were Tupac, Me Against the World, that's the one with Dear Mama, So Many Tears, Bone Thugs and Harmony's best album, if you ask me, East 1999 Eternal, that's the one with First of the Month, but this was actually before the re-release of the album that featured the version of Crossroads that everybody's familiar with. When they first released East 1999 Eternal, they had a different version of Crossroads called Crossroad. Old Dirty Bastard with Return to the 36 Chambers, the dirty version, was also nominated in that first Best Rap Album that Naughty by Nature won. So Dirty, that's the one with Shimmy Shimmy Ya and Brooklyn Zoo. And then Skilo with the album I Wish, that also included the single I Wish I Was a Little Bit Taller, I Wish I Was a Ball, like that one. So those were the nominees. Naughty by Nature won. And you know, this is a category that's not without its controversies. This is the one where a couple years after that, Puff Daddy and the Family won Best Rap Album with No Way Out. That's the album with All About the Benjamins. Victory with Busta Rhymes and Biggie. Been Around the World and I. We've been playing hated. It also has that song. It had I'll Be Missing You, which was released earlier that year as a single just after Biggie passed, but it was also included on this No Way Out album, which was initially supposed to be called Hell Up in Harlem. But when Puffy won this award, it also had Don't Push Me Cause I'm Close to the Edge, that Puffy and Mace single. But yeah, when this won the award, this was the moment where Old Dirty Bastard got on stage and said, Wu-Tang is for the children. That was kind of that before viral moment, well before Kanye West disrupted Taylor Swift's acceptance of her award. But yeah, go Google or YouTube that Old Dirty Bastard moment. He's like, I bought this expensive suit and all this, but Wu-Tang is for the children, just after Puffy won, and Puffy was a good sport about it as well. Another controversy was when Jay-Z boycotted the Grammys. This was in '99 when Jay-Z actually won the award for his third album, Hard Knock Life Volume 2, but he boycotted it because DMX was not nominated in a year where he had two #1 albums. It was basically his big premiering debut album, It's Dark and Hell is Hot, iconic album, followed by Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, just a few months later. Both hit #1. Both were groundbreaking albums. One of the best starts you could ever imagine for a rap career. But yeah, DMX wasn't nominated for either. Jay-Z said peace, and he actually held on to that boycott for several years. But yeah, Jay-Z actually won the award that year for Volume 2, Hard Knock Life. By the way, when Puffy won for No Way Out, not only did he beat out the Wu-Tang Clan, which again, that's why Old Dirty Bastard hit the stage. You know, Wu-Tang Clan dropped that double album, their second album as a group, Wu-Tang Forever. But Puffy actually beat out Notorious B.I.G.'s Life After Death that same year. So Life After Death dropped in March. Puffy dropped later on that year in the summer. Biggie Passed Away was shot and killed in March of that same year. But yeah, it was Puffy's album No Way Out that actually won the award over the classic Life After Death Biggie Smalls album. The other two that were nominated that year were Missy Elliott's debut, Super Duper Fly, and Wyclef Jean's solo debut, Wyclef Jean Presents The Carnival. Now, the most awards in this category's history goes to Eminem. 6 wins. I mean, damn, that's 6 wins out of 7 nominations for Eminem. So yeah, like more than half of his albums win the Grammy for Best Rap Album. Not all of them I agree with. Marshall Mathers LP, yes, I agree with that. But like Marshall Mathers 2, which came like 14 years later, I don't agree with that one. I don't have a problem with Recovery winning in 2011 for the 2010 album Recovery. But the year just before that, he won for like Relapse, which nobody really thinks that that was a great album. So yeah, Eminem with 6 wins in this category. Kanye West has 4 wins in this category. And then the other 2 acts or artists that have multiple wins are Outkast with Speaker Box to Love Below. And then before that, Stankonia. That's the one with So Fresh and So Clean and Miss Jackson. The funny thing about that is if you ask most hardcore Outkast fans what their favorite Outkast album is, you're going to get either Aquemini, ATLians, or Southern Playalistic Cadillac Funky Music, but you're not going to get those 2 that actually won the award. Interesting how that works. And then Kendrick Lamar has 2 wins in this category for Damn, which was his most recent album, and then To Pimp a Butterfly a couple years before that. The album that didn't win for Kendrick Lamar was The Good Kid, Mad City in the year that Macklemore and Ryan Lewis won with The Heist. That was another pretty controversial moment. But yeah, those are all the multiple wins in this category. The most nominations actually goes to Jay-Z with 11 nominations and only 1 win. So think about that. He won in 98 for Hard Knock Life Volume 2. Or the album was in 98, but the Grammys was in 99. He hasn't won the award since then, but he's been nominated a total of 11 times. Wow. And then Kanye West has been nominated 8 times with, again, 4 wins, so he wins about half the times he's nominated. And then, Eminem with 7 nominations, 6 wins out of those 7 nominations. And then like Drake and Nas both have 6 nominations. Drake has only won once for Take Care back in 2011. And then Nas has won 1 out of those 6 nominations. He won for the first time ever just last year with King's Disease. That was Nas's first Best Rap Album Award. So those are the 2 who have 6 nominations, and then with 5 nominations, The Roots. And The Roots don't have any wins yet in this award, but again, 5 nominations. So yeah, there's been a lot of topics of discussion for a category that's only been around since like 1996. Very interesting category, and it's one of my favorite. I'm a huge hip hop fan, so I don't often think that they get it right with their list of nominees. They tend to kind of go with some of the bigger acts and stuff when, there's several albums that could have flown a little bit more under the radar. They weren't, superstar releases like Eminem, which brings me to this year's nominations. And before we get into the actual nominees that were J. Cole, Drake, Nas, Tyler, the Creator, and Kanye West, from which Drake pulled out. He actually withdrew his nomination for Certified Lover Boy. Never disclosed an official reason why, but he pulled his album from consideration. But the first thing that I think about when I see this list of nominees is that Little Sims, who dropped not only what I perceive to be the best rap album of the year, but it was my #1 album of the year. Sometimes I Might Be Introvert. Phenomenal album. Wasn't nominated here. I thought it should have been nominated both here in this rap category and for the cross-genre album of the year award. I mean, in terms of critical acclaim, Metacritic aggregates all the scores from, across all like major publications. And Sometimes I Might Be Introvert was the highest up on most of the best albums of 2021 lists. So it is actually, the #1 critically acclaimed album of 2021, but it is not nominated here for Best Rap Album. I don't like that at all. Another one that I thought should have been at least nominated was Playboi Carti's album, Whole Lotta Red. Now, I kind of think that one might not have been considered because it was forgotten largely because it was dropped at the very end of 2020. Whole Lotta Red. It was executive produced by Kanye West. I might not be the biggest fan of trap across the board. I mean, I do like a lot of trap music, but it's not my favorite style of rap per se. But this album, if you listen song by song, I mean, there are more than like 20 songs on the album, but this is such a, when you talk about the most charismatic trap personalities, the ones who sound the most energetic on the songs and so forth, you had different pioneers of the trap style, like, Future, and then you had like Migos, and, even Travis Scott, and especially Future, when you talk about his genre turn, when he did like the Beast Mode and Monster mixtapes before the DS2 transformative album. But yeah, Future is a huge game changer when it comes to like genre bending and kind of trend setting, along with obviously like, Kanye West for various reasons, and T-Pain and Lil Wayne. But Playboi Carti is such a charismatic MC on a lot of these songs. I mean, you got to hear A Whole Lot of Red. To me, there's no reason that should have been left off of consideration here. JPEG Mafia had another pretty critically acclaimed album. I mean, there's several that you could get into that could have been nominated here. Boldy James, maybe somebody from Griselda like West Side Gun's release, or Conway the Machine, even Benny the Butcher. But I thought, or Mac Homie, Pray for Haiti. But yeah, Boldy James and the Alchemist collab called Bo Jackson, I thought could have been considered here. But the actual nominees this year are J. Cole with The Off Season, Drake, Certified Lover Boy. Again, he withdrew, so he's not going to be considered here. Nas with King's Disease 2. He is actually the current winner of this award with King's Disease 1 just last year. Tyler, the Creator, with Call Me If You Get Lost. Tyler actually won 2 years ago with the Igor album. So Tyler won, and then Nas won, and then now we have this year. And then Kanye West with Donda. Again, Kanye West is actually going for his 5th win in this category. Now, these are all really good albums. Like, it's very tough to call. J. Cole, I feel like since he has not yet won in this category for Best Rap Album, and he's got the reputation that kind of stands on, the modern era's Mount Rushmore of best MCs, along with, Kendrick Lamar, Drake. I mean, put on there whoever you think should be like the 3rd or 4th, member of that Mount Rushmore. But J. Cole is certainly one of them. And the idea that he has been nominated only twice, without a win, I just feel like if it's not now, then it's never. Because I don't think, when rappers continue their careers, he's now on his 5th or 6th album. Like, he's released several albums now, hasn't won a Grammy for Best Rap Album. So I'm thinking if it's not this really good, the off-season album, I just don't see when or how it's going to happen, because, rappers could only stay so high quality for so long. Rare is it the case where you get careers that extend beyond 10 years, where they're still putting out very top-notch, relevant rap music that's still widely embraced, widely recognized, widely paid attention to, because, even the veterans like AZ released Do or Die 2 this year. But it was under the radar because AZ's Do or Die 1 came like in 1995. So, the mainstream rap audience isn't still really paying attention to AZ like that. So you have, careers that extend beyond 10 years, but for that peak relevancy to extend beyond a decade is rare. So if not now, then when for J. Cole? Nas with King's Disease 2. I personally like King's Disease 2 even more than King's Disease 1, which again it won this award last year. And by the way, Nas just dropped an album called Magic. It's such an excellent album. That might actually get considered for next year's Grammys. Such a good album. I don't know how Nas has been on this recent 3-album run this late in his career, but he's done it, with the help of like Hit Boy's production, as well as Roger Shayahed, who's also, him and Hit Boy both produced on these last 2 Nas albums, or at least those 2 King's Disease 1 and 2 albums. They're both nominated this year for Producer of the Year, non-classical. But yeah, I have trouble picturing Nas winning 2 years in a row with King's Disease 1 and 2. I just don't think that that's going to happen, even if King's Disease 2 is a great album. I kind of feel like Tyler, the Creator, is going to scoop this one up with Call Me If You Get Lost. Again, Tyler won 2 years ago with Igor. He was nominated a couple years before that with Flower Boy. So Tyler, the Creator, has now been nominated 3 times. He's won 1 out of the 2 first nominations, and now we'll see if he goes 2 for 3 with Call Me If You Get Lost. I kind of favor him to take this one. It's weird because, you have rappers who are like the biggest names, the trendiest rappers, right? Not to say that Tyler hasn't become that, But he started off kind of, I mean, not kind of, but a very counterculture with, Odd Future. And his first couple albums weren't even recognized by any Grammy Recording Academy, right? He was the one who, would get banned and stuff because of how controversial him and his crew were at the time. A crew that, spawned Earl Sweatshirt, Frank Ocean. But, Tyler has kind of turned the corner from being this counterculture figure to finally being revered and esteemed with the big names, with the J. Coles and the Kanye West to a degree. Not that he's like recognized on the same level of like a Kendrick Lamar, but he's definitely more widely acclaimed these days than he was prior, especially, if you talk critical acclaim. Like, Drake, for as commercially successful as he's been over the years, like he's one of the most commercially successful artists, any genre, in the history of recorded music. That's not an exaggeration. But Drake critically kind of gets, dogged out a little bit with release after release, including this latest Certified Lover Boy album. And again, he's only won the Grammy for Best Rap Album once. Kanye West, again, 4 wins. So, you've got your artists who are, mainstream, widely accepted, and, just commercially huge. Tyler, the Creator, kind of like toes both of them, as does Kanye West to a degree. J. Cole a little less so, even though hardcore rap fans, the people who appreciate great lyrics appreciate J. Cole. And he obviously has a huge audience. All of J. Cole's albums have hit #1 on the charts. Literally, all of his album releases have hit #1 on the Billboard 200. To put that into context, Nas's latest release, King's Disease 2, peaked at #3. It wasn't a #1 album. Tyler's and Donda were both #1 albums, as was obviously Drake's Certified Lover Boy. So it's not like J. Cole isn't commercially successful. It's just that his singles aren't like hitting #1 at the rate that Drake's hit #1. But out of all of these nominees this year, only one of them was near the top of like the Metacritic aggregation in terms of looking at all the different publications, seeing how they ranked all of the albums in their best of 2021 list. Tyler, the Creator, you know how I said Little Sims was snubbed and she should have been nominated here because she does have the #1 critically acclaimed album of the year for all genres? Well, Tyler, the Creator was actually #2. So because Tyler, the Creator has been getting this Grammy love 2 albums ago, and it was nominated before that with Flower Boy, I kind of think that he's going to win it again now because, again, he is both commercially successful with Call Me If You Get Lost hitting #1 on the charts and being critically acclaimed with this same album hitting #2 critically, all genres. I think Tyler, the Creator, is going to walk away with this one. Donda, it's been, it had the most controversial and the most frustrating and the longest, prolonged and drawn out album rollout. You could remember everything that was happening, all the, changing the release dates, changing the album covers and so forth for Donda. Eventually released it. Super long album. Had a lot of great songs. I love some of these songs from Kanye West's Donda album, like, Jesus Lord and Moon with Kid Cudi. Several high points on Donda, but I think that Tyler, the Creator, is going to win with Call Me If You Get Lost. If he doesn't win, I actually think that it's going to be J. Cole with The Offseason. He doesn't have a win in this category yet. And again, Nas just won with King's Disease 1. I just have a hard time picturing Nas being a back-to-back Best Rap Album winner with King's Disease 1 and 2. Although I wouldn't be surprised if he gets nominated again next year, as I mentioned, with this new Magic album. So I'm going Tyler, the Creator, to win this award. If not him, J. Cole with The Offseason. But yeah, let me know what you think about this category. Who do you think was snubbed? Who do you think should have been nominated here that wasn't? Again, Little Sims not being nominated for Sometimes I Might Be Introvert. I find that to be inexcusable. But yeah, let me know who you think should win this award and who will win this award. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you love music like I do. I'm Woog. Thanks for tuning in.